Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. Today, we're at the Caldwell School District with Kari Palmer.
Hello.
Kari Palmer is newer
Yes.
to your role, right?
Yes.
And tell us what you do and how you got to here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. Caldwell School District is partnering with Idaho AEYC, and they had some funding, and so I applied for the job of the Early Learning Collaborative project manager role. And it's near and dear to my heart. When I saw the qualifications and the role, I was like, "Oh, that's me," because I love early childhood learning, and I've been doing it for a really long time. I started out babysitting my sister's babies that were twins, and they were like our baby dolls. Everywhere we went, we took care of them. And so all the way up till college, I was working in childcares and preschools, and then I was a Head Start teacher and worked at school districts and um, loved it. And then I opened my own preschool out of my home and had that for about 14, 15 years
Wow.
and modeled really the preschool kind of modeled over after the Head Start model because there were so many families who wanted high quality preschool that couldn't, maybe qualify or not get in or, and so I kind of modeled after that and we had a great success doing preschool in the community of Payette in Idaho. So that was fun.
So, Kari, tell us, how did you grow up? What was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? How'd you get to here?
Yeah, I grew up in Oregon and then also traveled clear across the world to Saudi Arabia for about 10 years. And I lived there, and it was very international and had all kinds of different groups of cultures and people. And that was a great experience. At the time, I didn't think I was experiencing something great because I had to leave, my small town and my friends. But now looking back, I think how awesome and how lucky I was to be able to grow up in an environment like that. So I got really lucky. And then I went to college at Eastern Oregon State in La Grande and went into early childhood and always was in like child cares and preschools and helping out and volunteering and doing VBS and all that kind of stuff. And so I've just always really had a great passion for children. And so I've always grown up around that. I have a big family and I have two kids of my own. I have a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old now.
Well,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks for sharing that with us. So let me ask you this: what got you into early childhood development, or just what made you passionate about it? I know it sounds like you've been around kids a lot just your whole life, anyways.
Yes.
But what made you passionate about this and go this direction?
I've always just been enamored by the 3-year-old. They love life and they're so happy when they're learning about everything and they're exploring. And so I've just always been a huge advocate for little kids and been really good with them. And so I've always loved being in the classroom and teaching and watching them play, learning through play has been one of my passions and I've just always loved it.
So, in your role, what would you consider a win to be? So, just say you do the role, you're 5, 10, 15, 20 years, down the line from now, and you look back and you go, man, that was like such a win. What does that look like for you?
I feel like just being able to be a part of the community and make a difference in all of those kids' lives. Some of those kids that came to my preschool, or even, when I was teaching in Head Start, those kids now have kids. And I've gotten to see what a difference, that their lives are now because of the early learning that they had. And they always come up to me and they're like, Carrie, Miss Carrie, or, when I see them and I'm like, they have kids now. And, and it's great to see them succeeding in life and that they loved learning, growing up. And so that is a huge win for me is when I hear parents and families, see me on the street or see something and they're like, wow, Carrie, you made such a huge difference in my child's life, because of preschool and because of the important, I feel like preschool and early childhood learning is just like an important part of someone's life. Each child should have that opportunity to do that.
Right. Now, you mentioned Head Start a couple times. Can you tell
Uh-huh.
us what that is?
Yeah, Head Start is a program that nationally is is available to families who qualify for it. It's free preschool, and families can sign up for it and see if they qualify for that. And it's a preschool program that encompasses the whole family and in their wellness and education, and so it's a really great program.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that.
And I know the Caldwell School District houses Head Start and the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club. And
Hmm.
we have a migrant program that families can qualify for. And we have a developmental preschool as well. The preschool program here is amazing. They have so many different avenues that families can be a part of.
Okay. So let's ask the obvious but important question. Why is early childhood learning or development, like, why is that so important?
It's so important because I believe that, and research shows that early childhood, when a child has the opportunity to have that early learning, whether it's in like in home or a childcare setting or a preschool setting, that first 5 years is so important to becoming a lifelong learner. It's great for their brain to have that exposure to be able to learn and explore and play, and so much happens in that first little part of life. 80% of their brain is almost developed by the time they're 5. And, research shows that. So their connections and their interactions and all that they learn in that first little bit is so crucial and important for them to be successful in their education later on, I believe.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so tell us, can you tell me or us, when considering a preschool,
Hmm.
what are some things that a parent, maybe a first time parent, um, should be looking for, I guess?
Yeah.
And then also, whether they do it at home or maybe they just can't get into a place.
Yeah.
You said in home. So, what can they do in home or when the kids aren't at a program somewhere to give them the head start that you're talking about or looking for?
Yeah. I think that parents, when they're looking at what options are, is to definitely, look at the school districts, look at what's in your community, look what's available. I think that's one of the things that we're working on as a community and bringing awareness to is our options want to be high quality. When what does that look like? High quality looks like, children who get to learn through play, that it's enriched play, that they can explore, and there's teachers who are showing love and care for those kids, and that there's a routines are important, and that kids know what to expect when they come into their day, and stories and music and outdoor play, and all of that is important. A lot of times people will think, oh well, I want my child to learn so much, like with worksheets or important, like what does this academically look like? But sometimes we don't realize that children actually learn as much as they need to know through that play, as long as it's guided play, and that they're meeting those um, developmentally appropriate practice in that setting.
Right. So, what are some tips or tricks, I guess, that you can give just the average parent,
Yeah.
or maybe grandparent or
Yeah.
guardian, to help just in everyday life kind of stuff for their
Yeah.
kids?
Well, I think there's lots of resources and lots of websites, of course, that you can go to, like Idaho AEYC, of course, their website, and Idaho Stars website. They have options for parents to look for childcares and look at different trainings. And there's the school districts right now are having lots of family engagement options and different events. Like right now, Caldwell School District is doing Get Ready for Kindergarten, and that is helpful, and it's free. Any family can come and bring their kiddos 1 to 5 years old, and there's little workshops for them, so that helps, and it helps parents with that. We're getting ready to do Blockfest as well, but as a family within their parents, what they can do is sing to their kids and um, talk to their kids and interact with their kids and ask them questions and point and play with them, get on the floor and play with them. And that's, important, really important, making sure that we're reading to them. And just, even if you don't have time, is, throw make up stories in the car. That's what I used to do with my kids. We used to make up stories in the car together, and we'd ask questions about it and discuss, but all of that is important. And just showing them, that you're there for them, and that you're supporting their learning by showing them love and, you know compassion throughout that first 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to spitball a question to you.
Yeah.
So, well, I think all of them are spitballed anyways. But I don't know if you know, but or can share. Can you tell a difference when maybe you see a high schooler or even an adult maybe? Can you tell if they've had that kind of training, or it's like, hey, maybe I think it seems like you went to a high quality, well, just like a learning environment early, or maybe not. Can you kind of tell, or at what point can you?
I think that that's a tough question, as far as just
Mhm.
meeting someone, randomly. But I think that, like, in those first, like, kindergarten to sixth grade, and they're developing and they're learning things, you can kind of tell, those kiddos that have had that full on, full learning experience before kindergarten. And some of them that are, some parents might think, no, that's what they're going to learn when they get there. But now we see how important those first 5 years are. And so we want to be able to say, these are the things that we should be doing, or we should try to be doing, as parents and as a community, to wrap ourselves around these kiddos that want to learn at that point. But I think that you can tell during that first little bit, but later on, maybe not so much,
Yeah.
as they get older. But
So let me ask you about the minus years, right? So like 0 to 5, crucial. But how about, in the womb still?
yeah,
So like -7 months to
yeah,
0, kind
yeah,
of thing before birth. What are some things that families can do to even help that process?
yeah. I mean, I think all of that is so important, pregnant women to, birth. There's so many studies done that your baby in the womb can hear, for 3 months. There's, like, I think there's about 3 months, and don't quote me, but through some of the learning I've learned, is just that babies can hear. And all of that matters, taking care of yourself and making sure that you're doing all of that prenatal stuff that the doctor recommends. But I think all of that matters in brain development, and you know um, how your child's going to learn, and those kinds of things.
Cool. Carrie, is there any other last partying things that you wanted to talk about before we conclude?
Yeah, I just would like to, maybe just talk about the awareness of early childhood and education. And I know we talked about the importance of it and maybe the why it's important. Um, but I would love, to do a shout out to, like, businesses and the community and service agencies, and all of us who are coming together and creating that community awareness of how important it is, and what we can do to help make it sustainable um, in our school districts and in our child cares, and figuring out a way to make sure that, that we're all banding together to help support that cause, because
Right.
it's important work, and it helps with, um, it affects our economy and our community, because we want to make sure we have high quality childcare. And we know childcares are out there trying to do the best they can, and it's tough work. And I think that, the more support we can give early childhood learning and where our children are being taken care of, I think it's important for them as well, the kids, the economy, all of us.
Right. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for just sharing,
Yeah.
about yourself and about what you're trying to accomplish here at the school district and in the community. Just thank you so much. Thank you for investing in the little kids, the 0 to 5ers, and yeah, thank you so much for all the tips and tricks.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the time that you gave us.